Hey guys, what's going on? Kyle here with the Card Guys. I'm joined by Simon Boschert.
There you go.
We met a couple weeks ago at the
Yeah.
LCQs,
Yep.
and you were undecided on what to play, but this weekend at Nationals, you ended up placing top 16 with Kidku.
Hell yeah.
What's up?
So what made you decide on Kidku for this weekend?
I've been playing Kidku since July. Well, after I got my June preliminary invite to the regionals, to the closed regionals, I was playing announcer at the time, and I'm like, okay, I need something probably a little bit more competitive than this. Looked at Kidku, looked at Janemba, looked at another deck, and I decided to pick two of those. Picked Janemba and Kidku. Janemba didn't really have fun with. Kidku I really enjoyed, and I felt like I beat a lot of the matchups that were going to be at the Columbus Regionals, which I went to. I went to the Columbus Regionals. At the closed event, it was like 50-something people. I came in 8th after Swiss. My only losses were to this guy right here, also playing Kidku. Better version of the deck because he won the event. Played Kidku. I went 4-2 there. Placed 8th after Swiss, and I couldn't make it back the next day. So I didn't get to play in top 16, which I was like really sad about because I had to work because there was a Magic pre-release and I work at a store. But I couldn't go back and play top 16. It was whatever though. I top 8'd, got my Nats invite, was super excited about that. Then the format changed because that was at the start of Height of Mastery Victory Strike format, or near the end of it. And then I've just been playtesting a bunch of different stuff, but I felt as if Kidku had a really good matchup against a lot of the spread that was going to be here. I felt like you versus Veggies, you just hard win with your training buddy Krillins. You're aggressive versus all the Shenron decks. I turned so many Kidku sideways against Shenron decks on turn 2. Like, I would swing with it, combo a 4-star ball. They would take the damage. I would add the 4-star ball back. It was wild.
Yeah.
So I just had a lot of good matchups I felt across the board. So I decided to go with the deck for the weekend, and it paid off. I went 7-1 after Swiss, and I won my first top 16 match, and then I just lost in top 8. I placed top 8th, so top 8 at Nats, pretty good.
Yeah, that's awesome. What were your matchups like, so people kind of know?
So I have them written down here so I can remember. Round 1, I was against Goku Black Zamasu. I was against...
Yeah, let's see the metal card.
That's up.
Oh, it's on top, yeah. I was against this bad boy right here, but obviously not the foily version that I just got. Played against that round 1. Kidku's super good into that matchup because they can't actually awaken. Their awaken condition for their leader is they have to be your opponent at 3 energy, and Kidku functions off of 2 energy just fine. You just play Kidku, you activate its ability, get a Vados, and you're 30 on their 10 every single turn. Their blockers don't really matter because Training Buddy Krillin can also kill them. You do have to worry about Unexpected Turn, but Unexpected Turn honestly like isn't too hard for the deck to beat. Kami's the same way. Like, you can just play around those two. So I 2-0'd that matchup. Round 2, I played against a green-yellow Brawly Apes player who I believe is also, he made it into top 4, I think, right now. They're still playing out finals. I lost game 1 against him, won game 2. We went into time game 3, and I punted. We were at 10 minutes left. We were like 9 minutes in time. We were going to 10 minutes. He combos with a bunch of stuff, including a double strike Champa. I combo with a Jocko in my hand to bounce the Champa. Don't combo extra because I forgot that it still keeps the double strike. I thought it had to be in the combo area for some reason because I haven't read it. And then I'm like, okay, whatever, because I wanted to have my turn because I had 1 more turn in time. I was trying to get back to my turn. I was at 3 life with a power burst in hand and like 7 other cards. I could have comboed over it. Took the double strike, and then he plays the Overwhelm Mira and just attacks for $1 billion. It was like 110,000. Couldn't negate it. So that was a misplay on me just due to time. I feel like I definitely had that matchup if I wasn't misplaying.
Yeah.
Round 3, played against a blue-red Janemba deck. That was interesting. I beat it 2-0. He was playing the Majin Buu Hercule, the Arrival, new card from the draft box.
Like topos.
Yeah, with the topos to negate, and then it's essentially a Nimbus versus a lot of decks. And then Arrival, the Majin Buu. The one issue I found with that deck, though, is that it doesn't draw a lot of cards. It doesn't draw as much as the other Janemba decks. So I would just put a lot of resources on board, and whenever they would topo negate, I would just stop my turn there. Because my leader doesn't have to attack to draw. I can reveal a 4-star, draw 2, discard 1.
Yeah.
So I would just stop my turn there. And he had to go down so many cards in hand that I was able to just beat him pretty much every single matchup. So I went 2-0 against that. Round 4, I played against the Shenron Gogeta player that was running Victory Strike in the deck. Game 1, he dealt 0 damage to me, and I saw 0 Self-Awakeners. So I was at 8. And the only way that he could kill me was to play Gogeta 7, or Victory Strike. because those were the only ways that he could kill me from 8 in the deck, because he had nothing on board. He had Gogeta 7, which was triple strike, could play with Shenron. So I put him to 1. He played the Gogeta 7 with 1 life and the auto trigger. And he Union Fusioned it. I called a judge over because he's like, I'm not going to activate the ability. And I'm like, actually, it's an auto that if you meet the condition, you have to activate it,
sure.
Which was the Sparking 10, which he had. So he was at 1, called the judge over. Judge confirmed. He crit himself to death game 1. Game 2, he had a Sideboard and Goku striving to be the best, which was a little bit harder for me to deal with. He ended up winning that game because he put a victory strike into play when I only saw 1 Self Awakener, and I could only attack with it once and go to 7, and he never damaged me, so I didn't get the card advantage that I needed. Round 3, though, I brought in my desperate measures that were in the side because I completely forgot that he would probably board in the striving to be the best. Brought in the desperate measures, was able to bounce it once, and then the second time he played it, it stalled me for a little bit. But I also have a 1-of Godstrike Beerus in the side that I also sided in, and I had a Kidku on board, a Bonds of Friendship Android 8, and the Godstrike in hand with a board full of dudes that he hadn't cleared. I swing with my leader, he doesn't negate. Combo Godstrike Beerus, remove the barrier off of the striving to be the best, and combo away my Kidku, pop the striving to be the best. So I could attack with like my 4 2-mana 20Ks that I had on board. So I was able to just push for lethal through there. Round 5, I played against Blue Yellow Apes player, lost game 1, sided in. I was really depressed about the match because like I hadn't practiced against it at all. I had no clue what to do. I eventually found a plan that worked, which was just to let them attack you. You don't hit them. You have to let them awaken you, or them, and take all their life themselves, and you just hold your cards. Just play dudes every turn. Try to not let them kill your 30Ks. And that actually ended up working. I was able to win round 2 of that match, and game 3. If he had activated the Zeno button when I attacked for lethal, he would have had an extra 10K combo to use, but he didn't, and he was short by 5K. So if he had activated Zeno button, he would have won, but he didn't. He even talked about...
Is it Thomas Henry?
Yeah, it was Thomas Henry.
I remember that. Okay.
Yeah, he was a little salty about that, but it was... He took it in good sport, so it wasn't bad. So I played against him. I 2-won that. Round 6, I played against the World Martial Art Tournament Oob leader, and honestly, this deck just hard beats that. They have to play Videl on 2 to even do anything. I have 3 Desperate Measures in the side. I was able to stop everything that they tried to do. I Desperate Measured him out of the board twice. He was playing the Path to the Infinite UI sign engine, the original UI sign. Beat him game 1, game 2, sided in those desperate measures, and I beat him there as well because I turn 2 stopped as Videl, turn 3 stopped as Videl.
Sure.
Round 7, played against a Shenron Gogeta opponent, and honestly, I tilted him so hard that he just misplayed the entire game 2. Game 2, I activated Kidku's effect when he had a blue mana up, the 2-mana one, to play a Skilless from my deck or drop. He plays Desperate Measures, which only stops 2-mana things, and I just put in Avados from my deck. So he was even talking about how he kept misplaying. He almost decked himself out game 2 as well.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he had like 2 cards left in deck. He played a Shenron Gogeta. He needed to play a Shenron Gogeta to have enough to push for lethal on me, or Gogeta, when I had 0 cards in hand. So he let me draw 3 off the Gogeta to try to kill me, but it didn't work because I drew 3 and I had enough to push for lethal. That was round 7. That was, I was 6-1 after that, and I thought that we were going to end with a top cut, and I was like placed 15th after Swiss then. I'm like, cool, set for 16.
There were so many X1s that didn't make top 16.
It was bad. It was
after
like,
that round.
there were so many X1s, and even...
Should have done a 9th round.
Should have done a 9th round.
Yeah, I think a 9th round probably would have been for the best for the tournament.
Jeez.
And then round 8, played against...
That was Demigra.
Yeah, it was Demigra.
I remember that.
I got the matchup advice from
like
Kyle
you.
over here.
That's me.
He gave me the ideas on how to play against it, play defensively, let them force their self-awakens, then push through for lethal when they've actually awakened themselves, and that worked perfectly fine. I 2-0'd him. Then I ended up 7-1, so I was 7-1 after Swiss, placed 8th, and then top cut was this morning, a few hours ago, came in. I
Played on stream.
I played on stream round 1, played on stream against Clash Q, playing the Kaioken. He actually never Kaioken me because I put him to such a low life total early that you can't ever actually play it and then take the life. He tried killing me with the final showdown Gokus and the arrival SSB Gogetas, but he wasn't able to ever push through for enough because I held up negates for those plays. I put in a lot of dudes. I also played around a lot of his counter plays, and one turn when he was trying to play a Krillin, the one that cost 2 if you have Sparking 10 from the draft box, I just desperate measured that and I like stalled his turn and he just wasn't able to do anything.
Yep.
So I was able to 2-0 him, and then I played against Robert in top 8. He was also playing a Blue Yellow Apes Good Stuff deck, and game 1 I thought I was fine, and then he overwhelms Fu the Dark Banisher, which hosed me because I had 3 super combos and 2 negates in hand, but I had to go down so many cards to actually activate them, and he had 3 apes on board at that time, so I just died. Then round 2, or game 2 of that match, he has like 7 cards in hand, he's at 2. I have like 10 cards in hand. He's tapped out. I attack with a Skilless, 20k. He activates Zeno button. I ditch my entire hand and a double strike chomp on it. I get it to 90k double. He plays super combo, unbreakable Goku super combo, draw a card. So that's 30 free right there. Then he was able to get rid of the rest of his hand to get it to 95, but he still had like 4 cards in hand. But I cleared his board at that point, and we were just in a top deck war back and forth. He dealt me a damage, and I took a ball off of life, so I was able to actually start drawing again. But he was able to push through for lethal. Yeah, so I lost 0-2 in Top Cut, but it was super sweet. Got a bunch of prizes. Got the Zamasu Metal
That
Leader.
thing looks so sick.
It's dope. Got this top 16 championship card.
That looks super sick.
It's sweet. Got $200 credit for a core TCG. I need to go redeem that after this, figure out what I'm gonna get with it. Probably wait till the next ban list because I want to pick up ape stuff, but I'm worried that the ape leader actually might be getting hit. So don't want to pick up the stuff if they're gonna tank. Got 10 of the new event pack 5, which has like the super baby, just the new cards and all of that. Got 5 of these championship pack final Nimbuses. Yeah, for those of you that don't know, the Nimbus, like this pack has the Nimbus with this championship final stamp. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's got the championship final stamp. It has 1 for each color. It has yellow has Nimbus, blue has Bean, red has Foreseeing Hit, green has Super 17, that's right, and black is Scientist Fu. This Scientist Fu looks gorgeous. So I got 5 of those on top of the one that I got for entering. So I have 6, so I have 2 extras that I'll probably end up getting rid of. And then I got these. We got gold ones for entering, but since I made top 16, these say finalist on them. So I got 3 of those, plus the one that I actually got. So that makes 4. So I'll have a place out of those, but I'll probably want to pick up a place out of the last ones that say finalist on them. Or I might sell them, who knows, even though it says not for sale on the bottom. All right, so that was the prizing that I got. Oh, forgot. I got a $300 travel voucher for Southwest Airlines. It's $300. It's not a Visa gift card, so I'm going to have to sell it to get money other way. Yeah, so those are my matchups and those are my prizing.
Well, let's see your build.
All right, so my build, I took inspiration from Eden over here. He played a list at the Columbus LCQ that I really liked, how aggressive, how low to the ground it was, how it could get under a lot of the other matchups. So I took inspiration from there. I think technically we're like 3 cards different in the main, but I'm running different vanillas than him, so it's like 7 or 8. So if you think about it, it's like a 16% difference. That's a lot of percentage there. So we're different a decent amount. So obviously Kidku's the leader. Had to get a sign by my boy too for inspiring me to play the deck again.
That's great.
Deck is super solid. So we got the one of Kidku leader, obviously. We got 4 of the SPR Kidkus. Super solid, finds balls, pays 2 to find Skilless. Just standard. 4 is the one you want to play because why would you play less with the leader? So we have the 4 of those. We've got 6 of the actual 4-star balls. I've found that 10 is the right number to have in testing because Kidku can find them, and you got 6 here. You always want to see one in your opener. If you don't have one, send it back. If you don't have either of these 10, because you need to be able to draw cards with your leader on the front side and on the back side. Plus, they're also great when you throw them onto your Skilless dudes because they're essentially 2 cards for the cost of 1, and they can be used defensively super easily on them as well. People will swing them to 20Ks or 30Ks. They'll super combo to try to kill them, and I'll just drop a 4-star ball, and it protects them. Just 1 card while they waste so many resources. 4-star ball is super solid on the deck. For my Skilless package, I'm running 4 vanilla 30Ks. I'm at 4 Vados right now. I think for the next tournament, if I play this, I'm going to play 1 Vados, 1 Boo, 1 Dabura, and 1 Great Saiyaman from the starters, so I can have 4 different Skilless ones.
Please
so,
do it.
yeah, and it's actually going to be probably a little bit easier to find which ones are in my deck so I can see if there's any in my life. So it's just a mental thing. But the 4 Vados...
You're going to get caught by Black Mass Saiyan. You play Great Saiyaman.
Why?
3 drop if there's 19 or more. Put Saiyans in either.
Stop!
You're
No,
gonna get caught. That's why I
nobody
don't play
plays
Great
that
Saiyan.
card. Card's
my
bad.
I'm not taking that chance.
Okay. Well, you cannot take that chance. So I've got 3 and 2. Doesn't really matter. 5's the right number to have. I have a foil Goku, but I accidentally registered 3 Vegeta, so I couldn't play the last foil Goku. So I've got 3 and 2. It doesn't matter what they are. You don't run any Union Fusions or any like boss monsters in the deck.
Yeah.
So 5's the right number. You can use whatever ones you want. Even if you want to do a 4-1 split, you could do that. So that's my Skilless package. And then for the Skilless support, we got 4 Bonds of Friendship, Android 8.
That work out well for you?
Oh, it's so good. It was so clutch the entire tournament. So I only whiffed twice in all. Let's see. I played about 25 games this entire weekend.
It didn't matter.
About 25 games, only whiffed twice. I played it at least once every game, pretty much. So only whiffed twice, and like, if there's multiple of these on board and 1 Kidku, these autos trigger twice. So if you have 2 bonds and 1 Kidku, and you combo away the Kidku, you can pop 2 things. It's super solid. Not to mention it replaces itself, and it's just a 5K combo. It's super good. I wouldn't run any less than 4. I'm running 3 the Training Buddy Krillin.
Yeah, I trunk super.
Training Buddy Krillin, super solid versus veggies versus decks that like try to play Kami early against you.
Or just like even Pan. It's like they try to sit with their 1-drops and just like kill them too.
Exactly. So like even against Pan, anything that's a 50 or a 5K or less, you play this for 2. You get back one of your Skilless 2Ks from your drop and neg 5 something. So you're getting 2 cards for 2 mana. One's a 15, one's a 20, and you get rid of one of your opponents. So it's like a 3-for-1.
Yeah.
It was super solid. I thought about bumping the count up to 4. It's really good against veggies because neg power doesn't KO, so you can kill the Khalifas and the Kales. But 3 is probably the right number. I like 3. I charged it once or twice, but I was always happy to see it. Then for the Overwhelm package, we're running 3-dimension support Trunks. This card is absurd. So if you're going second, there's so many games where you can get this out on turn 1, swing with your leader for a 15, swing with this for a 15, swing with a 20k crit, and that's like 3 damage right there. And they only get to like take 2 cards out of their life. Plus it's Overwhelm 3, which is super easy to accomplish, especially with your leader drawing 2 and discarding 1 on the back. And then 2 Bardock Awakened Instincts. This card's just super solid. Overwhelm 4 for free, draw 2, discard 1. It lets you filter through some of your negates if you're trying to push in for lethal on the last turn. Big fan of the Bardock. I think it's one of the better cards out of the anniversary box for sure. I think it got slept on a lot at the start, but like everybody's playing it now. It's very, very good. I'm running 3 Self-Awakeners. I think the Pans are really, really good in this deck. They bounce to hand, so they can be used as combo fodder. They attack, they draw a card from your life, get plus 10k, so they're 15ks on turn 1. They help you self-awaken against the decks that don't attack you early, like Shenron, so you really need those in the Shenron matchups. I'm a big fan of the Pans. I don't want to bump it up to 4 because they can be a little clunky, because usually once you hit 6, you just start comboing them away. Sometimes you want just a 1-mana 15k, though, later on in the game, and they can help put you to 4 if you need to turn your super combos online. But I was playing 3.
Okay.
So that's the 3 Self-Awakeners. We got the 4 super combos. Roshi's the best super combo. You don't have Sparking online because you run 5 Overwhelm cards. Sparking's rarely online, so Roshi's just the better super combo in the deck.
Sure.
It's usually online. Only against Shenron it doesn't come online. It's still a 10k even if you don't. Running 3 Furthering Destruction Champas.
Sure.
I like Champa over East Kai because I don't like having to declare. And Kidku, you really don't care about dealing the 1 damage instead of 2. You pretty much always want to put them lower with Kidku. So 3 was the right number. 3 was good. I saw 3 in multiple games, and I usually saw at least 1. And then here's a spicy tech, Surprise Attack Frieza. When I got this dropped on me at Columbus, I was baffled. I hadn't seen anybody use that in the deck. But it makes sense because you can combo away the Kidku, kill something, put this onto the field. Or when you attack into one of their things, you can put this onto the field for free. And it's a 15k crit. So it's a 15k crit. Your leader, your first Skilless card you combo with during the turn, gives it plus 5k. So one of the common things I would do is I'd play this, 15k crit at leader, first Skilless 20k, combo Champa, 35k, double strike crit. Very, very hard for people to defend through, and they have to take that damage if they don't negate it. The crit's super good in the deck. I really like crits, and I might want more. It's my favorite keyword in the game. Cell gang represent. Crit's the best way to play the game, in my opinion. So those were all the battle cards, and then the 4 balls. And then just standard, I'm running 4 power bursts. 4 negates was a good number. Gets you back your Kidkus and your Android 8s, the Bonds of Friendship. Just super good. Sparking negate doesn't really come online often, but the fact that you can grab back some of your combo pieces is super irrelevant. And then 4 Bean. I think Bean's the best card in the game. Extend your plays defensively or offensively. It's just like Bean's really, really good, and the fact that they keep printing hate for Bean, but Bean still sees play is just shows like just how good Bean is as a card. It's been around since set 1. It's been a staple since then. So that's the 50 card main deck.
What's up with your side?
Side was a little bit of a work in progress. I went into every single card in the side though the entire tournament. 3 Ultimate Judgment Jockos. Jockos really good against apes. You can bounce their apes so they don't come into play. You can bounce the veggie pieces for use 6 veggies so they don't come into play.
Card puts in work.
Yeah, it's super good. You can also, it essentially becomes a 10k combo itself when you bounce one of their 5k combos. So the Jocko was super, super helpful throughout the day. I also ran 3 Haru attacker Majins. This was also really good against
You played that correctly in your feature match, and I was so happy.
where I chained my energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would tap for 1 first, see if he had a counterplay. He was playing green-red, so he had preemptive strikes, but I made him go down to 1 so he couldn't counterplay. So I play 1, use Kidku's ability, play this, untap 4. So play the 1 and then the 3 for this, and untap 4. So I was mana efficient with that. I've learned that, like, how to be mana efficient from Magic a lot. The Haru is super solid. Also, it can place people don't use the thing where you place the top 2 cards of your drop into your deck into your drop. But that's actually really relevant if you want to turn on one of your Overrealm cards for the turn. And chaining these into multiples is super good.
Super good.
Yeah, and it's a 15k crit, just like the Frieza. So with the Frieza, if you put one of the Skilless combos and a double strike onto it, it'll be a 35k double strike crit. Yeah. Super, super good. Super hard to play around. This card impressed me the most this weekend.
Dude, this card's absurd.
Desperate Measures is so good.
That's the reason I play blue.
Desperate Measures is really, really good in Kidku too. So it stops a lot of 2Ks that can give issues with your deck. It kills Vegeta Time Regulator, or bounces Vegeta Time Regulator. Bounces a lot of the counterplays that people are going to try to play against you. So it says if the battle card being played has a cost of 2 or less, all of the dual multicolor battle cards that are counterplay, like Vegeta the Cruel, Champa the Trickster, whatever, they count as 2 in hand. So when they're revealed in hand for 2, you can play the Desperate Measures, and it'll, instead of being played, it'll just return to the hand.
Go back,
yeah. So you can Desperate Measures those, which is super relevant. You can also Desperate Measures the Topo from the draft box, because that Topo is really, really good against your deck. Like I said earlier, that you can just pass the turn, but usually you want to be turning dudes sideways, and if they stop you for a turn, that's really frustrating. They have to pay 2 and discard 1 to play it. So if you play this and bounce it to their hand, they just discarded a card for free for you, and they had to tap 2 energy for it. Desperate Measures was solid. Also, another cool thing you can do with it is you can attack with a Skillless card first, and then play your things, and then Desperate Measures, bounce your tapped Skillless to your hand to have an extra combo card in your hand, and if it's the first one you comboed with, it becomes a 10k instead of a 5k. So Desperate Measures, I did that like 3 times this tournament. Desperate Measures was, it was super, super good. I liked the 3. I might want to bump it up to 4, but 3 was a good number for this tournament. I like playing 3-ofs in the side, and I really like cards that overlap for sideboard options, because I want to be able to play against lots of different decks and have multiple ways to attack those different decks. So those were my 3-ofs. I played 2 Forced Ejection Mass Saiyan. Against the Shenron opponents, I didn't see it at all against my first one. And against the second one, I only played 2 games and I saw it game 2. Opponent called the judge for the activate main, so I overwhelmed one and hardcast the other. It checks at the start of your charge phase for the activate main ability. So if I charged, which I did, he was at 5, I went to 4. I overwhelmed one, activated, put him to 4, and myself to 4. Hardcast the other, put him to 3, put me to 4. He called a judge over, that's fine. It is a little unclear on the wording, but it checks at the charge phase for the Forced Ejection Mass Saiyan. So I was able to blow him out that way. That's why people play that against the Shenron decks. Kidku, it's really easy to be able to get to that mana to play it, but you already have a favorable matchup against them because you go so fast, so quickly, that it really doesn't need it for the deck, but it was nice to have it in the side anyways to just be prepared for it. 2 Time Ruler Toa. The Time Ruler Toa is for playing against other Toa decks, which I didn't play against all weekend.
Yeah.
Which I was kind of hoping I would see it because Toa's a fun matchup for me, in my opinion. I attack them so much.
Sure.
So 2 Toas for that and for the Demigra, because when they play a Kidku, you can play your Time Ruler Toa over Realm it and take that Kidku and start activating its abilities like it was yours. That's why they play the Time Ruler Toa in their deck with the Skilless package. So you just side in against that, you're favored already, but the Time Ruler Toa is super good in those matchups. It's the only time I sided in. There's not really anything else you really want to take it against. So those were the 2 ofs, and then so that was 13 right there. And then here's my 1 ofs. 1 of Tension Han Returning Fire. The Tension Han Returning Fire is super good against any blue decks like Janemba or Oob or red decks that want to untap too, because it's a 1 mana 15k, which is good in the deck. You can put in the beats early with it, but it also prevents them untapping with non-awakened skills. So Senzu Beans don't work against them or against you. Your what's it called? Dimension Magics don't work. I thought about even siding it in against the Brawly Apes decks because they'll tap out and hold up Zeno button. And even if you hardcast this for 4, they can't Zeno button. So I thought about that a couple times, but it felt a little too cheeky for me to play. So I didn't. I only played against my blue decks that I played against. Then the last card on the side is Godstrike Beerus. Yeah, Godstrike Beerus.
That card's absurd.
Super clutch. A cool thing you can do with it is you can hold up 1 mana and a Senzu Bean against your Shenron opponents. And when they attack, you can use your 1 mana Senzu Bean on tap 2, Godstrike Beerus, eat the triple attack off the card, and it won't restand.
Yeah.
You'll just take the first hit of whatever it is, or you can remove the triple strike, your choice. But you can remove the keyword off of it in battle when they're not expecting it.
Yeah.
And you can just, and like after they've gone all the way in on what they wanted to do. So super clutch in the side. I sided in those matchups. I think that was the only deck I sided against though. But I went into every single card in my extra, went into it every single time, and I really probably wouldn't change anything about the side deck if I had to. It was super clutch all weekend.
Awesome, man. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
You had a long tournament.
Yep.
So, any shouts you want to give?
I have a few shout outs. So, first shout out has to be to my boy Luis. He was the one who got me into the game about a year and a half ago. It was SS3 format. Flute had just gotten put to 1. Sat down in our LGS. He's like, I want you to learn this game. I'm like, okay. Sat down, played it for like 5 hours. Great. Loved it ever since then. Built a bunch of decks. Second shout out goes to Perfect Force Cell. The card's great. Favorite card in the game. Perfect Force Cell's good. I want to shout out my local game store, Monster Games. You can find us on TCG Player. We sell there. DBS Bad Monster Games. We have locals. They've put in a lot of work coming to the event. Everybody in our locals that came up to the event qualified. I was the only one that did super well, but everybody had a good time. They've helped me grow as a player. Super awesome community there. Love all of them. My last shout out. So I work at that store. One of our Yu-Gi-Oh players that I'm good friends with, he came up to me and he's like, if you top this weekend and you get a deck profile video, you have to give me a shout out. And I said I would only give him a shout out if I was able to say this. So this is what my shout out is. Jacob Walton, this is your shout out for getting me to play Dragon Ball by realizing how trash Yu-Gi-Oh is as a game right now. It is garbage. And I never want to play that game again. So that's your shout out. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you much for the in-depth deck profile. We'll probably see more of you when you top more events too.
I'd like to see that happen.
But yeah, it's been Kyle the Card Guys, and we'll see you guys later.